Hi, my name is Carol, and today I'm presenting my informative speech, and my topic is how divorce affects children. So every day in America, there's people getting married, but there's also dozens of Americans that are getting divorced. And according to WeForum.org, in 2016, divorce rates were decreasing because millennials are more careful before they're getting married. They're establishing a sense of self, and they're finishing their education so that they know what they want in life. Whereas baby boomers were getting married very young. So in the chart, the light yellow and the darker orangey yellow represents the baby boomer generation, which you can see is at a very high rate of divorce, whereas the two greens represent more of the Generation X and the millennials. And while, of course, the divorce rates won't, just disappear, but they're at a steady, and they're just slowly decreasing to present day. In present day, the divorce rates are decreasing. So according to FamilyMeans.org, some of these side effects for children are poor academic performance, loss of interest in social activity, feelings of guilt, and loss in faith in relationship and marriages. So I feel like these effects overlap. So for poor academic performance, it's because they can't focus. With not being able to focus, they can't do their work. And then the loss of interest in social activity, they tend to isolate themselves because during play dates and stuff, a majority of society, their families are intact. There's mom and dad. So for divorced families, children, they feel really insecure when they have to invite their friends over, because whether they live with just mom or just dad or another family member, it creates a sense of insecurity because they don't want their friends to know that they're lacking in that department. And then feelings of guilt. Many of the children are not able to understand the terms of the divorce because most of the times the divorce are something happened between the two parents. It's not the kids ever. So at a young age, it's hard for them to comprehend that. So then that, I feel, overlaps with the insecurity that happens, and then that insecurity turns them very afraid of society, And then the loss of faith in marriage and relationship, growing up, seeing their parents, the first people that they love and trust, separate their ways, and only knowing that throughout their life creates a sense it won't work out for me either. So furthermore, according to Family Research Council, the effects of divorce vary, of course, from children to children. Some of them, don't show all the signs or don't show any signs, but most of the times, more times than not, the negative effects outweighs the positive, obviously. But, it just depends on the child and the terms of the divorce. All in all, divorce happens every day, but we as a society neglect to put ourselves in our children's shoes and understand how to cope with it. While maybe the divorce is necessary, we still need to explain to our children why and how it's not their fault. And while that may not work over time, the child, as he or she grows, they'll understand better. But we have to let them know that from the very get-go that it's not their fault, and the terms don't shelter them from the issue. Don't try to hide any information, but don't overdo it. Let the child know why the divorce happened and that it's not their fault. So over time, that they'll begin to slowly grasp what was going on. And I feel as a society, we need to reduce divorce. Therefore, we need to be more careful before getting married, understanding the effects if we do get divorced, how it affects our children, and how to prevent that from happening. We need to understand ourselves and our partner better before having that huge commitment.